Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust. Turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey, welcome, California Haunts Radio, Thursday evening. Man, these weeks go really fast for this show. They went so fast, in fact, that last night we had a milestone, and it totally skipped by me that we had this. Hang on, I'm just trying to make sure that she can get in here. Just give me a second. Okay, let me make sure. Just give me a minute. So, okay. Hang on 1 second. I'm going to send her a link again because she seems to think the link isn't working. So I'm going to send her another link. So let's see what's going on here. So hang on. And then I'll talk to you guys. Just give me a minute. It's going to be one of those nights. I could tell because, you can only get so far. And all of a sudden you see little things that start piling up and happening. And, you can just tell that the night's going to turn into one of those nights. So let me resend the link. So I'll send her another link real quick. Let's see. Just give me a minute. Okay. Here's the link. I'll send another link to her because she seemed to have trouble getting into StreamYard. Yeah, try that one. Okay. Let's see. We'll wait. Anyway, last night marked. We may end up probably going to a phone call here if worst comes to worst. Anyway, last night marked a milestone for the show, and I really didn't see it coming. I don't know why. I didn't have, because you get on YouTube, it says we got 190 shows, and I just think, okay, it's 190 shows combined 2 years, but that's not true. As it turned out, last night was our 100th show for this season. Is that cool or what? A lot of TV series don't even have that, right? So, when I went to upload everything to RSS for the podcast, that's what came up. It was season 2, show 100. So that's pretty dang cool. Pretty dang cool. So I want to give everybody involved, all my producers that have helped finance this, and the people that have donated this past year and all that. Give everybody a hand. Everybody, all of you that have been listening and our subscribers on YouTube, give yourself a hand and give me, I'm giving you a hand too. See, you can hear me, because we got to 100 shows. So that's something. And there's probably going to be 100 more before we're done this year, because I don't see, we might be. I don't even know if we're at the halfway point yet. But anyway, I want to welcome you all. My name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. Hopefully she can get in. And I am also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, based out of Sacramento, California. We are 35 strong up and down the state of California. And we also have branches of our ghost hunting team in Oregon and Nevada, and some in Hawaii. There's some people in Hawaii as well. So if you have any paranormal needs and you think you might have something going on in your house, go ahead, shoot me an email. Usually the easiest is a radio website. You can shoot me an email from there at californiahauntsradio.com, and we'll get back to you and get things going. And as you can see on the bottom, we don't charge for our services. We're nonprofit, so we'll come out to your house for free and check it out and do stuff. Okay. Anyway, what are you doing this weekend? I know what I'm doing. February 19th and 20th, that's Saturday and Sunday, the Mystical Minds Convention is going to be in San Jose. They've got speakers, they've got booths with paranormal supplies and paranormal people you can talk to, everything. In fact, it's not only paranormal, they're talking, there's, like I said, it's mystical minds. So you've got some Wiccan stuff going on there, you've got some other types of stuff going there too that you can check out. So it's a really cool event, and there's going to be guests there. Nazir Muhammad Shohan, Lorian Fenton, Brad Olson, Michael Fury, Drake Fury, Tiffany Turner, Robin Korak, Bess Silliman, and Shannon DeFlorentino are going to be there speaking this weekend. And that's Saturday and Sunday. So the only way to get tickets, you can't get them at the door. You're going to, if you want to do this thing, you're going to have to get them at the website at mysticalmindsconvention.com. So check out their website and see what they got to offer. Check the schedule out and all that stuff. And okay, I don't see her. Okay, she's got. 6:29. Oh, this can't be good. So I don't know where she's at. So she's trying to get in, and it might be better to call her. So I'm going to have to do some shifting around here. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming. And I just want to say, like I said earlier, we are a nonprofit. Let me get this out of the way since that piece of business is out of the way. We are a nonprofit. So in order to run the show, this is where I get to beg one of the times when I get to beg for funding. And all the show, everything you see here, the backdrops, everything comes out of my pocket. So if a computer breaks, the camera breaks, other stuff breaks, I have to pay for it to get it fixed. And I'm a semi-retired journalist, so I don't have I don't have a lot of funds to support this stuff. And we want to keep bringing great guests like Rena to you. So what I'd like to do is, what I'd like you to do, and it would be nice. I'm not going to tell you to do it, obviously, but you know, to donate a little bit to us to keep the show on the air, and you can help us, okay? And the way to do that is paypal.me at California Haunts. Or if you're uncomfortable with PayPal, go to Venmo and type in California Haunts, and you can do it there. I would really appreciate it because it's going to help us keep things going here. Honestly, I'm being honest when I tell you. We're nonprofit, and we're nonprofit, okay? Tonight's guest, the other thing to our YouTube page, if you're watching from YouTube, please subscribe. We're looking for YouTube subscribers. The more the merrier. And the way you subscribe is there's a little ghost down in the bottom right-hand corner who wears a Sherlock Holmes hat. And he's got a magnifying glass. Click on him, and that'll get you to our subscription page. Okay? And that way you can subscribe at YouTube. That'll take you to YouTube. Okay? All right. Anyway, welcome. Tonight, hopefully, the way it's going, Rena Greenberg is going to be with us. Rena Greenberg had a heart attack when she was 26 years old. And she ended up getting a pacemaker. And after that happened, she started doing research on how she could keep herself healthy and out of the hospital. And so over the years, she's put all this research together and created some programs that she teaches people how to lose weight and stay healthy. And it seems that the programs are really starting to take off. And that's why she's on tonight. She's going to talk to us about that. So let me see if I can. We might have to dial her up, which means I'm going to have to do some quick moving around here because she's having trouble getting in. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. So if you guys can hold on for a second, or I'm going to have her give her a phone number. Okay, how about this? I'll call you. Is this what happens when people don't test stuff out? I will be right back because I'm going to have to get the cord for my phone. So I shall return right now. Okay, I'll be right back. So just take a break, go grab some popcorn, and I'll be back. Didn't see that coming. Let me go grab it. I'll be right there. You guys can hear me. I'm just gathering some stuff here. I'm getting ready to do a phone call, which I didn't expect to do tonight. So give me a minute or two to get everything going and set up for this phone call. Be right there, you guys. Right off camera. Just bear with me for a couple minutes. Dun, 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 dun. Da, 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 da. Okay, we can do this. This is not a problem. Just a minor inconvenience, that's all. Just gotta switch up the situation. Okay, all right. I'm back. Just give me a second. Let me get hooked up here, and then I'll get the phone call going. It's never a problem. We just gotta readjust and do this. So see if she sends me her phone number. I will call her. Get her on the line. get this named right. I should do it. Okay. All right. Let me get my headphones back on. Let me get her phone number. Okay. So we made the adjustment. Thanks for being patient. Let me get this phone number. I'm Rena Greenberg. Oh, she's in. Okay, we got her in. Okay. There we go.
What?
Hey, welcome.
Hi. Oh my gosh. So sorry. I couldn't get in there. And here I am.
That's okay. You know what? I need exercise. It was good to run in the other room to get the phone cord and get my little, my little desky thing up that I use for phone calls.
It's good to be with you.
Most people think I have a fancy way to do phone calls because a lot of these shows have little things you set the phone on. They little clicker thing. Not me. I've got a mic on the right of me.
Are you there? Charlotte? You're frozen.
Let's see if we can get in there. Hang on a second. Yeah, the internet. Now the internet's good. I know things are starting to go wrong like earlier before the show started. Little by little, things were going wrong. Do you hear me?
Oh, gosh. Yeah, now I do. You were frozen. I'm going to try to shut some things down.
Things started to go wrong. And usually, you ever notice when things start to go wrong in your life, everything just turns to piss all at once. But anyway, like I was saying, is that people think I have this high-tech setup for phone calls, and it's not. I have a music stand over here. I've got a mic that I put over the top of the cell phone and put the cell phone on speakerphone, and away we go.
Wow.
It works out really good, really well.
Yeah.
Anyway, I want to thank you for coming. I'm excited to have you on.
It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yes, no problem. So I don't usually tell the I always figure that you can tell people about yourself better than I can. So I'm going to let you do that. Because I know, you had a heart attack at 26.
Yeah.
See, I had congestive heart failure at 44.
Wow.
So we were both young with heart, issues.
Yes.
So tell me about you.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of how I started in wellness and health. Was I got sick at a young age. And then through my journey of recovery, I discovered so many wonderful modalities to get healthy. And really my definition of health is mind, body, spirit, emotional health. And yeah, it was just kind of floored me. I was, super energetic prior to having this illness come over me. And I was living in New York City, really fast paced lifestyle. And all of a sudden I just lost all my energy from one day to the next, it felt. And I started pounding the pavement, going from doctor to doctor, and no one found anything. And after a year of it, I ended up within a 24 to 48 hour period. 3 people said to me, Rena, your heart rate's, your pulse feels funny, go to the ER. I thought, well, I'd spent a year going to doctors, but I figured, let me check it out. I walked into the emergency room at Brooklyn's Methodist Hospital. And to my surprise, they whisked me back there. They said, we have to admit you. And basically, they told me my heart was beating at a rate of only 30 beats per minute.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the chief of cardiology did a test on my heart. And he said, you have the heart of an 80-year-old. I was 26. Yeah. So
I had the opposite. My heart was going at 160 beats a minute. Wow. When I walked through that door.
Yeah.
And then I walked back out because I said, well, I lived with it this long. I'm going to wait till I get to my regular cardiologist because I had a cardiologist.
Oh, okay.
And so I had gone to Kaiser. They took me in, did the test, and said, well, we could keep you for a couple days and we could get everything done. And I said, well, there's no one to take care of my 85-year-old mother at the time. So I'm going to have to go home and wait for my sister to come in. So they let me go home. They gave me medication, went home. And then the following week, I ended up at UC Davis, or the other hospital when my sister was here, and they went ahead and did the shock treatment, the shock stuff on my heart to kill the spots that were shorting out essentially, and causing the problem. But your story, oh my God, I can't imagine a heart rate being that slow.
Yeah, I was so lucky to have lived through it because I ended up having a heart attack in the hospital when I was, just 26 years old. I was in cardiac care for 3 weeks. So when I came out, I just felt so blessed that I had been given a second chance.
Uh-huh.
And I was determined to do everything I could to really find help. And that's when I started my journey. And at first, I studied herbs and nutrition and all that was really interesting. But
Right.
what what really excited me was the power of the mind. When I discovered biofeedback, hypnotherapy, NLP,
Mhm.
hypnosis, and I realized the amazing things that can happen when we tap into that deeper power and can really change what's going on with our own body physiologically, but then also change our lives. I
Mhm.
was able to end all my addictions, which I have an addictive personality. So I was able to, and so the weight loss was just sort of a side benefit, but, stopping drinking and sugar and all these things. And then I just wanted to help other people because I could see how stuck people would get, with these patterns
Right.
that led to illness and disease. I didn't want people to end up, like I did, like really near death or God forbid death. So that's when I started a program that I created and I brought it to hospitals and ended up over 75 hospitals reviewed and sponsored my wellness program. And I brought it on site to over 100 major corporations, including Disney and Home Depot and AT&T and, for their employees. So it was very exciting to be able to then turn around and help so many people with this method that I had really developed just for my own to get myself healthy.
Right. How long did it take you to figure the method out? Because I mean, there had to be a lot of research. Because I know when I first got sick, I was looking into Native American books, for food, for food ideas, in organic, just like you were. But like I told my doctor, I said I'm going to start looking some stuff of like the Native Americans would eat. And she says, "Well, bring
Yeah.
it to me first so I can see what it is," and which is what I did. But I mean, I know there's just so many books out there and so much
Yeah.
information. How did you figure it all out?
Well, that's a great point, Charlotte. And really, what I discovered for myself is, you really have to learn to trust yourself when it comes to making the right choices because it's not the same for everybody.
Mhm.
Literally, one man's meat is another man's poison.
Mhm.
So, what I wanted to do when I created my program was not create a cookie cutter approach. Like so many programs out there, it's you've got to follow it exactly, whether it's keto, whether it's vegan, and obviously they're two opposite extremes. But I want people to be able to connect to the inner voice, the voice of wisdom, the voice of the heart, and really know what's best for them without second guessing. Because so often people are just looking on the internet and they might look up, like, for example, are potatoes healthy or are pickles healthy?
Right.
Well, for some people they are, but for some people, maybe for you not. So, what I love about hypnosis is it helps you get in touch with the subconscious part of the mind that then can reveal to you and kind of speak to you. And you can have much more clarity about what's the best approach to get healthy. So I found what's my best approach, and I am happy to share it with people,
Sure.
but I'm not saying that's necessarily going to be everyone's approach.
Right.
It's just the method for listening to that inner voice to get the information that I really want to share.
How hard is it for people to be I mean, I know, like you say, people get hooked on these things on the internet. They see them come across, like the keto diet. I know when I first went vegan, my biggest mistake was that I went too fast. And I remember I was on a tram, coming home, and I remember I had a hallucination moment where it looked like the thing was flipping over because I had gotten off protein too quickly.
Mm,
And my body was craving the protein. I mean,
yeah.
how hard is it for people to get into that proper mindset to where they don't go cold turkey and jump into some diet?
Yeah, well, that is a really important point, and some people really need animal protein, and I stress that. So, being vegan or vegetarian is not for everyone, and because our brains, a lot of us really, really need the protein. So, I relate to that. I'm one of those people, and so being vegetarian really makes a lot of sense on paper. And of course, I probably have 3 dozen vegetarian cookbooks, so I don't get rid of them because I love them. So what I kind of have come up with is a more balanced approach, a lot of whole foods, a lot of greens. I love all the sauces with vegetarian and vegan, even, the tahini, the miso, all the ways you can be creative with nuts and seeds. But for me, I need to have small amounts of animal protein, even a couple times a day, to keep that blood sugar balance. And so it's really helpful for each. I mean, you sounds like you certainly got that message when you were on that tram. And maybe over time you can have less and less of it. But I think too many people eat and then they feel guilty about it, like they feel bad about it. And I really try to help people to, eliminate that shame and the guilt and all the second guessing, and to really trust ourselves, because the body knows. Think about when a baby's born. The baby's crying, it's hungry, it wants to eat. And if the mother's nursing it or giving a bottle, either way, when the baby's no longer hungry, it turns its head. It doesn't force feed
Right.
itself. It knows what it needs and it knows how much. So that's innate. But the
Mhm.
problem is that when we're eating all this processed crap that's coming into us from the food industry, it's all like a lot of it's just garbage and all these chemicals and flavors. We don't know what it is. Well, that messes up our bodies, like that system that can tell us when we're hungry, when we're full, what we should eat, because it just confuses the body.
Well, I hear people, I have to watch my salt intake, which you probably have to also because of your pacemaker. And I remember when I was first going shopping and sitting there to have to read for the first time in my life reading labels, to actually read them and how much salt is in the processed food. I mean, it is just nasty. Even Campbell's soup, it's just craziness.
Yeah,
You know,
it is.
I
Yeah.
mean, like I was on 1,000 milligrams of salt diet a day, and I was trying to figure out how to keep it, keep everything down with the food. And then I was finally just giving up. Finally, I discovered Mrs. Dash. God forbid, Mrs. Dash. Mrs.
Mhm.
Dash, garlic and herb. I hardly do salt anymore. It's always garlic and herb.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, and
And
you do
that's
it. You don't need it.
right, exactly. Your taste for food changes. That's what I love. So garlic and herb is a great alternative. Another
Yep.
one is the sea salt, which has all the trace minerals. So you can get a
Yeah.
really good, like I like Selena Naturally Celtic sea salt. And so you start to find these healthier alternatives. And then with hypnosis, what I love about it is you're reprogramming your mind so that you
Mhm.
actually prefer the healthy foods that are nutritious, and they start to taste better for you.
Yes.
It's really amazing because sometimes we feel like I used to eat ice cream literally 2 or 3 times a day. I couldn't even imagine a day that I wouldn't eat ice cream. But now when I look at ice cream, I don't even want it anymore, you
Yeah.
know? And so that's freedom. And that happens to my clients too. They say the same things. They say, oh, I was reaching for those cookies and then I heard your voice and I just don't want them anymore. And I say to them, look, it's not my voice you're hearing. It's your own inner voice that you've internalized my voice. So it's a new way, just like we internalize the commercials. How often do you find yourself humming along to a commercial, and you're singing this jingle or something, and like the Campbell soup one from years ago,
Right.
and you realize, wow, I have been hypnotized. I've been brainwashed. I'm singing about this. And then you look at the ingredients of like the soup and you think, oh my God, I can't believe I would put that in my body.
Yeah.
So the new hypnosis, the self-hypnosis I try to teach people is my body's not a trash can. I
Uh-huh.
honor and respect my body and I choose everything I eat mindfully, consciously with awareness.
That's great. And
Yes.
and you teach the hypnosis, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I've helped, really thousands of people, and it's so rewarding. Even during COVID, I had a gentleman named Rocky. He came to me about a year and a half ago, and he's lost over 100 pounds. Even in this time, and he's kind of cooped up because of the COVID. But we actually did gastric bypass hypnosis where we simulated a surgery. And
Mhm.
after that, he said, you know what? I'm happy with less food. I just don't want to eat as much. He's exercising more. He still goes to buffets and stuff, with his friends. But he says, if I want prime rib or spare ribs, I have some, but just a little bit. He says,
Right.
more, I just want salads.
Well,
So
the
it's pretty
problem
cool.
is too when you do go out after you've been on a diet like that and you do go out to eat, you notice. I mean, the minute you bite into something, you notice how much sodium is in there or how much
Yes.
extra is in there. It's just
Yeah.
it doesn't taste as good anymore. You know,
No. Yeah. It
it,
feels.
it takes a while, guys. It takes a while to train your taste buds, but once you do, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yes, it's so true. Yeah, yeah. One of my programs is called Sugar Divorce, and I love that because it's like literally getting a divorce, like someone you used to love. You're just done with it,
Uh huh.
and it's pretty powerful.
So, how long does it take you to come up with these programs?
Well, I've been doing it, for decades. So I'd say I'm really more living it, and as I live it, I put together the tools and techniques and strategies that I've shared with people that I see work for people, and then I try to put it out more to the masses.
Had How do people come to you? I mean, for your services, and once they do that, what's the process? I mean, do you make a list of what they're eating, or how does it all begin?
Well, when people come to me for private hypnosis sessions, see, some people will just get my at-home programs, on the
Right.
website, easywillpower.com. And some people will want to work with me. So either one, but people want to work with me if they really have individual situations, obstacles that they want to overcome. So generally, of course, I'll listen to what's a person's lifestyle like, what are they eating now, but also, how are they spending, pretty much lifestyle, like what are they doing throughout the day? And then when I kind of get that information, then when I do the hypnosis, I'm able to suggest within the context of their life, because obviously it's their life, so it can't be cookie cutter for everyone. And then it's the suggestions are for how can this person choose smaller portions, eat healthier foods, and increase activity in a way that fits for them. Because everyone's goals are different. And, someone who's maybe single has different motivations from someone who's married.
Hmm.
And people are in different stages. Some people are still working. A lot of people are retired. Some people are dealing with emotional difficulties. A lot of people come to me because they're in grief or having depression or anxiety. And so, I want to take that into account. And then the hypnosis can really help in those areas as well, help to help a person have higher self-esteem or to feel more relaxed and calmer and happier as well.
How does that? I mean, how do you get somebody to convince somebody to do hypnosis? Because I know there's people that think, well, you can't hypnotize me. It's impossible to hypnotize me. So how do you handle people like that?
Yeah. Well, basically, I don't try to convince anybody. If someone doesn't want to be hypnotized, hypnosis is something that everyone can achieve, but you do have to want to be hypnotized. I get calls all the time, and it kind of breaks my heart because I get calls from people who want to help their loved ones. So people come, my son is gambling, my husband is a drinker. Can you help him? I say, not unless they make the phone call. If they want to reach out to me, I'm more than happy to help them. So you have to really want that help. But once a lot of people think they can't be hypnotized because they don't understand what hypnosis is. They think someone's going to control their mind and they're not going to remember anything. But I really explain to people that we're being hypnotized all the time by the media, by advertising, by politicians, because basically hypnosis is interpersonal influence. It's the influence that people's words and then the images that people paint with their words. And this becomes imprinted in the mind. And it can be extremely powerful. And advertisers know this. A lot of people know this. And unfortunately, sometimes it's used in a way that's not for our own best interest. So the food industry is always creating all these images to make us feel like, wow, if I eat this food, I'll have more friends. If I drink beer, more people will like me or whatever, and we start to buy into these subtle and not so subtle suggestions. And what I do is help to really tune into people's hearts. What is it that we're all longing for? Of course, we're all longing for love and security and safety and some sense of control and power over our lives. And then I try to give people, what I give people are healthy suggestions so they really can feel in control of their life and their habits. Even little things like being in a restaurant with people and being able to push away the plate when you're no longer physically hungry and to feel really good about that.
That's
That's the
true.
kind of thing that people can change.
And how many times have we all watched a McDonald's commercial and their cheeseburgers they have a unique taste, and so you're sitting there watching it and suddenly you're thinking, man, I can taste that cheeseburger.
Exactly. Right. And that's no accident
Right.
because it's the way the photography's done and the music and the words and all of it. But the power, the mind is so brilliant, and the power of the subconscious is incredible because the subconscious part of the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. So when you close your eyes and allow your body to relax and take a few deep breaths, and then all of a sudden I'm giving suggestions for being happier with healthier food, being able to choose your foods mindfully. And before you eat a food, it's sitting in front of you and you ask yourself, how is this food going to make me feel? And then you can really tune in to see what you're talking about, like with McDonald's, is you start to tune into that taste.
Yeah.
But what happens is then you decide, oh, it's going to taste good. You want it. But what happens after you eat it? Remember that horrible, sick, disgusting, gross feeling?
Yes.
That's what we want to tap into before we eat it, not after. We want to look at that burger because that's what happens. You look at it and think, oh, that looks so gross. I would never put that in my body. And that's power, right? That's empowerment. And that's what happens for people with hypnosis. So it's pretty cool.
Is that because once the hypnosis is done, it's kind of like it's ingrained, but in the back of the brain. I don't want to say back of the brain, but whichever part of that brain is that will trigger when they're looking to so when something else triggers, it triggers that to bring that memory up.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it kind of like overrides the old, the old feeling of, oh, really, I really want to eat that. It's kind of like, well, this is the new me. And the new me, I want people to be able to look in the mirror and look in their own eyes and say, I love you. I respect you. I honor you. And I'm going to take care of you. It means you're not going to go hungry. I'm going to feed you every single time you're hungry, but I'm going to feed you like I would feed my beautiful newborn baby. I'm going to feed you food that nourishes and sustains you. But here's the thing, not diet food. See, a lot of people, because they've struggled with their weight for so long, they feel like if they're not eating the junk, the only alternative is dieting. And dieting is psychologically a temporary situation. It's a feeling of deprivation. It basically feels bad. Like nobody likes diet food. It's horrible. I would never eat diet food. So I want people to eat delicious, healthy food. If they want to have a little bit of cheese or nuts or, olive oil dressing with their veggies or salad with some animal protein, if that fits for them, some complex carbs, avocado, like delicious, healthy food. And the more we eat that food, the more we're never going to go back to eating processed crap. And then, of course, the weight loss is a side benefit. We lose that weight, we feel fantastic.
Well, that's the thing, and people don't realize with diets either is that if you don't eat a certain amount of calories a day, your body fights back,
Yes.
and that's why you don't lose weight. So
Yeah.
you have to meet a certain amount of calories a day in order to lose the weight. So it just depends on what type of food you're putting into your body to help, to reach that calorie amount, but the type of food you're putting in your body that will not put the weight on too, you know? I agree 100% with what you're doing.
Yeah. But, when you're eating to live and not living to eat, you're
Uh-huh.
going to be at your healthiest weight. So the two go hand in hand. So I tell people who come to me, let's put the weight loss. If it's sometimes it's hard because all people want to do is lose that weight. But I say to them, put that on the back burner. Let's do this for your health because it's all about motivation. And when we do something for our health, we're way more likely to be successful than when we're kind of white knuckling it and forcing ourselves just because we feel, because when it's all about weight loss, there's also all that negative self-talk, like I'm so fat,
Yeah.
people are judging me, and all that self-hate and shame. And that doesn't help really motivate us. People think it does, but it's like having that whip out. It really doesn't because we want to rebel against that. So when those voices come in, we say, you know what? Screw it.
Yeah.
I don't care what people think. I'm going to eat whatever I want. And then we end up hurting ourselves. But when it's for our mental, physical, emotional health, it's a lot easier to really tune into what do I really need today? What food is going to really nourish me? Or sometimes we might ask ourselves, am I even really hungry? The
Mhm.
answer could be no. I just need to lie down and rest or take a hot bath or take a walk.
Mhm.
It could just be like nervous energy that we're not honoring.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the other thing I was thinking as you were saying that, I mean, I'm overweight right now. I think we all gained weight during COVID because we were all stuck inside. But
Yes.
I know the difference when I'm on a junk food run, because like anybody else, you get in moods where you're not going to stay on your diet. I mean, that's just a given. And when I come off the junk food run and I start eating my low sodium diet that I'm supposed to be eating, the weight just comes off.
Yeah.
It just starts dropping off. I don't have to exercise. I don't have to do anything. Just eat the food right, and the weight comes off. So there
Right.
is something to be said for eating right, eating food. What's the worst food that people eat?
Well, there's a lot of
Besides
culprits.
everything, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of culprits, because that's the problem. The food industry has us brainwashed, and the foods are processed, and then, like I said, even the diet food, it might be low calorie,
Right.
but it's still, when you think about what should we be eating, it's really so simple. We need to eat from the earth, whole, real, clean, unprocessed food, water-rich foods. And the key to success, long-term success, is to never ever feel like that's a diet and to
Mhm.
make sure those foods taste absolutely delicious. And it's all in how you prepare them.
Well, I
So it's
discovered
it's a
yeah,
mindset.
I discovered, zucchini spaghetti. which
Mm.
is something I never dreamed of in my life. But you know what? You can't even tell the difference. Once I put the
Yeah.
low sodium sauce on there with no meat,
Yeah.
and just make the zucchini, you can't even tell the difference that it's not real. That it's not like pasta.
Yeah.
But one thing I found in people that are trying to eat healthy, I have a friend. I'm not going to name. I already corrected her a little bit, and she was excited because she's buying her son this non-GMO food. They're veggies and all. It's a veggie mixture thing. And so I looked it up, and even though it was non-GMO, the sodium must have been like 2,000 milligrams in this food. And this is what she was giving her kid for lunch.
Mm.
And I said, look, I know it's none of my business, and I know you're at Whole Foods, you're shopping, you're trying to find healthy stuff for your kid, but good for you, non-GMO and all this, but look at the salt content in this, because that's a lot of salt for a kid that's like 7 years old.
Yeah.
People have to read labels. It's not fun. Sometimes it takes forever at the store, but you have to read labels.
Yep. Yeah. Read labels, but also a lot of it's a habit too, like thinking that you always have to have your food from a box or a bag or, a can. Because when you think about when you prepare your own food from scratch, it has zero sodium, whatever you add. So if you want
Right.
to add, like I like the sea salt, I'll add a little bit of sea salt.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how you can get used to, and you could do it quickly. Like, you don't
Yeah.
have to spend a lot of time to prepare your healthy foods. And they taste great and you just get used to it, and then where you prefer them over what's in the can and the box. But the key really to success, Charlotte, is really the reprogramming of the mind. You need to write a new pathway in the subconscious part of the mind, because otherwise you're always going to revert back to the old behaviors. But what happens with hypnosis is you really start to have a new self-image of yourself. So you feel healthy, slender, fit, in control of your life and your habits. And you just feel so good and fitting into your clothes comfortably with high self-esteem that you would just never go back to the old way of eating. It's just would be like going back to kindergarten. You're just
Hmm.
not going to go back there.
Well, yeah. Well, then, like I said, I was looking through your stuff on your website. It is fascinating. It really is fascinating. It is very interesting. But see, I'm one of those people that has to, be on a diet, a certain kind of diet. But I mean, for somebody else, like I know people that are doing keto right now,
Mhm.
and I don't know. Anytime I see a diet fad like that comes along, I just kind of roll my eyes.
Mhm. Yeah, but there's always like positive elements to everything, and then that's why you want to do everything, sort of with discernment. Keto is really the same as the Atkins diet. When I was sick in New York, I actually met Dr. Robert Atkins. He was one of the doctors I went to see, and his diet really didn't work for me. It was a lot of people will fault it for being high fat, but for me, really, I just never went into ketosis. So it was way too much animal protein, way too much. But then when I went to see a macrobiotic doctor, which is really the same as vegan, now, and I loved the macrobiotic plan, and I had time back then. So I was spending 3 hours a day in the kitchen doing everything perfectly, because you're supposed to, have a little sour, a little sweet, a little bitter, a little, like a little of everything. And my taste buds loved, because I'm a carb addict. So I loved all the brown rice and the sweet potatoes and, all those starches. So even though it was so healthy, there was no process, but it was just so much carbs. So my taste buds loved it. My body didn't. I gained 20 pounds like instantly.
Uh,
So ultimately, I discovered that what's best for me is a combination of the two. And that's what I've been doing for about 30 years. Just, so a lot of, I do have whole grain, lots of veggies, and but always with my animal protein. And what that has done for me is completely balance my blood sugar and cut all cravings for sugar and for carbs. But I don't think I could have done it if it weren't for the self hypnosis, because I really had to retrain my mind that this was normal. This was the way I was going to eat. And even, I traveled so much in the last few decades because, again, I was doing seminars for corporations and hospitals all over the place. And even still, with all that high travel schedule, I raised my two daughters and raised them. And then my husband doesn't eat just like me at all. So, with all of it, I've still been able to maintain. But the key is my mind has never, ever thought that I'm on a diet. Never. It's just the way I eat. And I just honor that. So if I serve my kids ice cream, or my husband wants whatever, a big loaded sandwich or something, that's fine. but I'm always just going to eat the way I eat for nourishment. And the thing is, I actually enjoy my own food so much. Like when I make a salad, I put goat cheese and dry roast pecans and all that I actually wouldn't want to eat any other way. And this is the same thing my clients say. They say, wow, I didn't realize it could be so easy, which is why I named it Easy Willpower, because it really can be easy once you shift your mindset about it. It's not work, it's not a diet, it's just the way I live, just the way you dress. Like you might dress differently than other people. You dress for comfort and you don't deviate just because someone else is doing something, different than you. It's like really listening to what is the best way for me. And I would never have been able to get my energy back and live a full life if I didn't eat this way, because I know my body would just be sick because it was so sick before.
Did your cardiologist, when you started eating correctly, did your cardiologist comment about the progress you were making?
Yeah, not until recently. I'll tell you the truth. I didn't get a lot of positive feedback. I remember I was in the hospital, and I was in a teaching hospital, so I was literally surrounded by residents, and they were all with their notepads, and they're like, "Okay, why do you think this happened? Young girl like you, age 26 years old." And I said, "Well, I don't know. It could be my lifestyle. I mean, I'm always running around, and I drink, and and I'm, I kind of eat bad." And they were all like rolling their eyes. No, it couldn't be that. It has nothing to do with what you eat and your lifestyle. And they sent the dietitian over to talk some sense into me. And she said, "There's nutrition in a Snickers bar," she told me as I lay there. And I thought, okay. So I wasn't going to get much support from that team. And I was very grateful for what they had done for me, putting the pacemaker in my heart, because it saved my life. But when I walked back out into the streets of Brooklyn and I looked up at the sky, and I knew I had been given a second chance, and I just knew that I had to control the aspects of my life that I could control. And even if it's true that a cookie wasn't going to, slow down my heart,
Mhm.
but what I started to see is that no, it's not one cookie, but it's the accumulation. And one leads to two, leads to three, leads to
Yeah.
10,000. And that was the track I was on. I just knew I had to go down a new road. And I'm just so grateful that I did, because now all these years later, I feel healthier than ever, and been able to spread this message to so many people. And now what I love is that the world has changed. And there's a lot of other people spreading the message too about health and nutrition. So, because we need to know it.
Right, right. And when somebody comes in to talk to you, so do, like you talk, like the way you have the way you're eating is that you have some of your favorite foods mixed into do this other healthy stuff that you're doing. Is that
Yeah.
what you do? Is when somebody comes in, okay, let's make a list of like you say, let's make a list of what you're eating. What's your favorite stuff to eat? What's your favorite type of vegetable or whatever? And then you go from there?
Well, it's more, again, I'm not really telling people to eat specific things, because what happens is everything's psychological, right? So if I started to give people a diet, even though people would say, "I invested in this, I want to do this, I trust her," the problem is there'd be a little rebel inside that, it might last a week, 2 weeks, a month. And after that, the diet would be out the window with all the other diets. And it would be, the pendulum would swing in the other direction. And I don't want that to happen for people. So I more empower people. I encourage people to do a little exercise, which is in my books and also in my programs. I have a little workbook that comes in my weight loss bundle, Easy Willpower program, and it's called the Food Map Workbook. And people, oh, wow, you got a slide there. Thank
Yeah.
you. So cool. Okay, yeah. So this is in my Easy Sugar Breakup book, and it's called the Creating Your Personal Food Map. And the food map lets people figure out for themselves, what foods do I need to eat 90% of the time for health, mental, physical, emotional health? What foods do I need to avoid altogether just because they're toxic to me and they're triggers to me? And what are those foods in the middle that I can eat in moderation? So
Mhm.
each person decides for themselves. And then my hypnosis is really to help motivate them to stick with that sensible eating plan without ever feeling like they're on a diet, without ever feeling denied, just feeling like this is the new normal, and that they're excited about their new healthy eating.
Fascinating. Now with the hypnosis, how does that work? How do you get them to do self hypnosis?
Well, what I do is I guide people through hypnosis, and then all my programs have guided hypnosis. So at first, they're going to listen to I still have CDs for people who want them, but most people just want the digital, the audio digital
Uh huh.
or the digital video. And so I'm guiding people through hypnotic experiences, and then they're able to, again, they're able to take those suggestions in and and embody them. Like these suggestions now become the new normal, the new me, the new way of living.
Okay. Cool. 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 What do you think is the worst abuse? The worst thing that people tend to eat.
Again, people have different needs in terms of what's the best foods for them, but also in terms of the worst food. For most people, it's going to be sugar.
Okay.
And unfortunately, sugar is in everything. So it doesn't really necessarily matter. Like, is it an Oreo cookie or is it, a fudgesicle or, because it's going to be the problem with sugar for not all people, but like at least 70% is it's so addictive.
Hmm.
And what happens is then you're going to end up wanting more and more, or even if it's not the same form of sugar, even if you tell yourself, okay, I'm just only going to have this piece of chocolate, but next thing you know, now you're having like a big piece of bread at lunch and now pasta in the afternoon. And now all of a sudden you've got the 3 o'clock blues and you're having, crackers and, so that's the problem. Sugar is really, it's insidious. It gets into our system and we wake up wanting more.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was something I noticed too. Trader Joe's. If you have heart problems, they have a whole list of food that you can ask for, and it tells you what aisle they're on. They had minestrone soup, and I thought, oh, that's cool. Low sodium minestrone soup, and I thought, right on. I want to get some of that. Well, apparently they decided, not them, but whoever the company is that makes this minestrone soup, decided that since there's no sodium in this thing, they're gonna jack the taste up with brown sugar.
Oh, wow.
So I go to eat this soup, and it was sugary.
Yeah. Are you
Unbelievable.
Yeah, yeah. But the best way to get minestrone soup is take a big old pot, like grandma's big pot, and fill it with water and just get a bunch of vegetables and any herbs that you want to put in. If you want to do a little sea salt and just let it cook
Right.
slowly, and it's fantastic. You just really get used to that.
Jennifer says she's addicted to sugar and caffeine.
Oh, great. You got to call her. Okay. Well, if you um caffeine was a big one for me too. Some people are like, "Oh, you're going to take away the coffee too?" No, we're not taking away anything. I mean, if you're okay with the caffeine, then it's fine. But yeah, if Jennifer's writing in, then obviously it's a problem. And how do you know that when you're craving it and you're having too much of it? So you'd be a perfect candidate for hypnosis because the hypnosis is really to help you to cut back on, or if you do need to eliminate sugar, caffeine, and to do it and feel really good about it. So, what that would involve, what is hypnosis? It's
Mhm.
really writing a new program. So, hypnosis is a state of deep relaxation, focused concentration. In that state, the subconscious mind is more available for suggestion. So, what happens for most people is look, everyone wants to look and feel their best, but part of them wants to continue with the old unproductive eating behaviors of the past. So, there's an inner conflict. And hypnosis helps to resolve that conflict so that we can just naturally choose smaller portions, eat healthier foods, increase activity without feeling deprived or denied.
Fantastic. I'd be willing to look into this stuff. It sounds interesting the way you do it. Like to have for that reprogramming part of it because, like I said, when people, oh, let's see who else is chiming in now. I'm not going to the coffee. No way. You got it right. That's right. Because you do have to like even from my experience with switching diets, you do have to reprogram the way you think about food.
Yeah. Yeah, you do. You don't even want to think that you're on a diet. You just want to think that this is the new me, that I actually eat healthy. and I prefer eating healthy. And, if I've worked with thousands of people, a lot of them still drink coffee every morning and they're
Uh-huh.
fine, or they might have wine at night and they're fine. That's what I mean. I don't have a program with hard and fast rules. If someone's coming to me, and I mean, people come and they're distraught because they're suffering, because they can't stop drinking coffee or they can't stop drinking wine, and they're embarrassed and they feel horrible, and it might have affected their personal lives or even their professional lives. And so what I offer is hope that we can change, where the past doesn't equal the future. It's not static. And we can change our thinking. And if people are skeptical about that, I think one of my programs is called Sugar Divorce, because it's all about, and you saw the book Easy Sugar Breakup. It's like
Right.
really letting go of something that's toxic for you, as if you would let go of an old relationship that doesn't work anymore. It's the same thing. It's a relationship between you and food, and it's not working anymore when you're the one gaining weight. And, the food industry doesn't care. They're just like, come on, have some more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like I said before, you'd be surprised once you do that, how you don't really miss it.
Yeah.
Once you make that break.
You don't miss it. You don't, because the mind is such a creature of habit, and it works for or against us. So when we're eating crap, we want more and more and more because we're in the habit. But when we stop, we lose the habit. And the same thing with our pleasurable associations. A lot of times we're attached to something like coffee had so many pleasurable associations for me, because I would drink coffee with friends. So there was that camaraderie and the love, and then by myself, and just that feeling of the pick me up, and I would crave it. And then when I realized that it was not healthy for my body,
Uh-huh.
I was just able to change the associations. I started, instead of really associating caffeine with, actually, believe it or not, instead of energy, with feeling tired and drained, because it was that place I would get to right before I, really needed that next cup. And so then I started to think, I don't like that addictive feeling. And then the more I, created that program with the self-hypnosis, more and more really saw myself not wanting it, not caring about it. So now, even if people in my house are drinking coffee and it smells good, I think, I'm not, I just move on, I'm just going to go out for a walk or whatever. It's not interesting to me anymore.
And
So,
go ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, just advertisers, they always think about how they get us to take their products. Like, even if it was coffee, again, they would link it with something pleasurable, whether it's even the smell or the taste. But we have the power of our own minds. We can link it to whatever we want to link it to. I mean, you could link it to puke if you want and think,
Mhm.
yuck,
Yeah.
it could be anything. So I want to help people to use the power of the mind for their own benefit, to do what they consciously want to be doing.
I agree with that 100%, because that makes all the difference in the world. To have the right mindset to do this.
Yes.
To get onto a decent diet and get away from all the crap.
Yeah. I say I get onto a sensible eating plan, because I don't, it's the same thing, but I don't want people to feel like they're on a diet, because for a lot of people that would be restrictive.
See? Yeah, see Jennifer? See, Jennifer says her therapist always tells her that she's crashing from caffeine and sugar, and that's why she doesn't have any energy.
That's right, Jennifer.
But what I found too is, once you start like this, you start eating right, and people see how you look and how you act,
Hmm.
people will start getting on the bandwagon, because that happened with me, with my family. My
Yeah,
sister, everybody started looking at labels. I noticed my sister would be like, "Oh no, this is low sodium. I've been eating this. You're helping me eat right."
that's so nice. That's
And
great,
that's what's
Charlotte.
nice, and sometimes, I'm not saying all people will do that, but sometimes you get lucky and your family will go, "Hey, maybe I should, try doing that." And it helps you too.
Oh,
Especially,
yeah.
if
Yeah,
you're living with somebody or you're in a house with somebody, because even my friends do that stuff. They're always looking out for me for whatever food is out there,
that's nice.
and going, "Look, maybe that's too much salt for you. Let's do this." You know,
Yeah.
and that helps a lot.
Yeah, that's true.
To have that
That's great.
support. Um,
Yeah,
how long
definitely.
does it take to learn how to do the hypnosis?
Well, it's pretty instant. Like, if someone comes to me for a hypnotic session, even if they're skeptical, I mean, I'd say 9 out of 10 people come up out of it and they're just like, wow, that was really beautiful, because It's like going deeper within the mind. A lot of times we're just stuck in that space between our ears, just this repetitive thinking, memories and ruminating and
Hmm.
worrying and all that. And hypnosis is like a beautiful trip. Like it's like almost like a high, but it's all natural. And it's like going deep within and reaching higher levels of the mind where we're
Fun
just
day. I think I had too
yeah,
much caffeine today. No, go ahead.
you're 3 hours behind. But yeah, so it's very relaxing. It's very empowering.
So people can learn this from your books, or is it much easier if they do a one-on-one with you?
The books have a lot of really useful information. Obviously, it's more intellectual for the mind. In order to actually have the experience, it's best, private sessions are great, but also the programs on my website on easywillpower.com. I've gone in the studio and recorded these programs that are just, they have so much information and really valuable. So that would be an alternative to having sessions with me.
Now, the first time I ever heard of a food map, I mean, when I think of a food map, and I think of one from school. Remember when they'd have those charts? You'd have your vegetables over here and all this. That was my first kind
Yeah.
of connection with the food map. But I have friends that have IBS, and they're the ones that have told me about food maps. What are you eating? And if you're eating this, it's affecting you to do this and do that. So I'm really into food maps now.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, there might be different definitions of a food map, but
Yeah,
because my food map in the book is kind of a very distinct exercise that is helpful to help you to discern what foods you should be eating most of the time, what foods you need to avoid, and what foods you can have in moderation, sort of in the
mhm,
middle. So that helps people figure that out. So they know what to eat. And then
right.
the hypnosis works to reprogram. So it's just easier to start eating those foods, just to have a complete change in the way you think about food and the foods that you prefer.
Now, when somebody comes in to talk to you and they're looking at the food map, do you ever get one of those reactions like, "Oh wow, I don't know if I can do this. This just doesn't look appealing."
Well, people understand, this is the thing. If you could do it with your conscious mind alone, you already would have. So you really need to access the power of the subconscious part of the mind, which helps you break the pleasurable associations with the wrong foods. So once a person goes through the hypnosis, they get it. They're like, wow, I really, that's what most people say is I really see how I can look at food differently now. So yeah, it's pretty exciting. But we can't do it just talking about it in the conscious mind. It's really an experience where you go into the subconscious and think about, like, if I said right now, people think, oh, I don't know if I could be hypnotized. But if I said to you, well, Charlotte, imagine that you're stepping into your shower. Can you do that?
Sure.
Of course, right. So it happens instantly. It's not work. Like you said, how long will it take? It's instant. So it's the same thing. Imagine being attracted to a certain food. Imagine being turned off to another food. It's instant. It just happens. And then the more, people, if they get the recordings, which of course comes with all my programs and my private sessions, and they're listening every day, and it literally is rewriting the script in your mind. And you think, even if you go to a restaurant, like I talked about Rocky earlier, who's lost over 100 pounds during COVID, he
Right.
says, he's like, I still get whatever he used to get. I think he's like um, those ribs that I think he used to eat the ribs or whatever he would get, the potato. He said even the bread, he still eats the bread. He said, I'm from New York. He was saying, he's from New York. He's like, so I only eat if it tastes really, if it's really good, but he will. And it's fine because he's not on a diet. He's just eating only to live. He's really embodying that message that nothing tastes as good as freedom feels.
Sure. Sure. Do you have any other success stories?
Oh
You know
my
what?
gosh.
Tell me
Yeah,
tell me some stories.
yeah. Lots of success stories. Yeah, it's really great. I actually was just heard from a woman named Christine who came to see me. I can't believe it. It was 20 years ago, she told me, and she lost about 30 pounds and has kept it off. But I love her story because she came to me for weight loss, but at the time she had horrible back pain. It was really affecting the quality of her life. She couldn't get down on the floor and play with her 4-year-old son. She was just beside herself. Nothing worked to get rid of it. She went to chiropractors, physical therapists, and she said the hypnosis got rid of her pain, and she lost the 30 pounds. But it was all, and so when I asked her, what was it specifically? She said it got rid of her negativity. She said some of the images that she received in the hypnosis, like the heart centering hypnosis that I do, she said she imagined that all those negative feelings, whether it was jealousy, anger, sadness, just melted off her body. And she said they were really gone. And through that, she was able to release her physical pain and drop 30 pounds.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yes.
I know I do meditations like that, so I never, well, maybe that's a form of self-hypnosis too.
Yeah,
You
it
know,
is. Yeah,
there's
it is.
meditations where you can actually go in and do that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think when I was doing them, and I can say this because I'm not as healthy as I was a summer ago, and I think it's because I haven't done them in a while.
Ah, okay.
And I want to get back into doing them because it really, really helped my health a lot
Yes.
to do that. To have
Yeah.
that quiet time to think within myself and check out, because they have those wellness meditations where you can check out your inner organs and all that as you go.
Yeah.
And
It's
I think
pretty
it
cool.
helps. So I could
Yeah.
see, that's why I wanted to have you on, because I really could understand your program, involved with the hypnosis part, because to me it's a lot like what I was doing, and it's something that worked well. Anyway, like she says, worked for me. It may not work for you guys, but it worked for me.
Mhm.
You know. So how long does it take people to, get really into the flow of things? I mean, like you say, it's not instantaneous.
Yeah, but for some people, it really can. I mean, some people will see me and they walk out the door and they start immediately making changes. So I just talked to a woman today. She bought my program, my weight loss bundle, about a month ago. She's down 4 pounds, but she only has 10 pounds total to lose. So that's pretty good. She's at almost half her goal in a month. So yeah, it can be pretty instantaneous because the mind is so receptive. When we hear suggestions, a lot of times we'll act on them. So that's what the advertisers are counting on, that you're driving by, you see the billboard, it says, next exit, Cracker Barrel, and they think, okay, you're going to pull off. And a large percentage of people obviously do. So it's the same thing when I give people positive suggestions that you're going to start, moving your body and walking more and feeling really excited to get up out of bed and move your body and jump on that trampoline or whatever it is. People are like, wow, I couldn't stay still. It's that power of the mind. It's pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Does this can you coincide all this with exercise too?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can only lose weight by choosing smaller portions, eating healthier foods, and increase activity. So my suggestions are for all of that.
Okay, okay. And
Mm.
as for my low sodium diet, the meal I had the most problems putting together was my lunch times.
Mm.
I would always skip lunch and go straight to dinner because I just didn't know what to put exactly, because a lot of salad dressing has, of course I know now to make my own dressing, obviously. But back
Yeah.
then it was like, well, this salad dressing has too much, so if I eat a salad, I can't stand just eating a regular salad, it has to have dressing. So I used, like I said, I used to skip lunch times all the time because I never really knew what to do on that center meal.
Mm. But did you eat more at night from skipping a meal?
No, I would stay with the same thing at night that I would normally
Oh,
eat.
okay.
You
All
know,
right.
I was very dedicated. In fact, my cardiologist, when she diagnosed me with heart failure, she says, "Well, you're going to have to make some diet changes." I know it's, and I was up to 300 pounds way back when. I mean, really
Oh
big.
my
A
gosh.
lot of it was water. I ended up losing 80 pounds of water weight.
Good for you. Wow.
And I walked in and she said, "Well, you're going to have to change your diet." And this gal I had, didn't baby me. I can tell you that. And she says, "And from the looks of you, it's going to be a hard battle." And I looked at her and I said, "No, as of today, I'm done with junk food. It's over." And she didn't believe me. And then after, after the first couple visits, she went, "You really did quit junk food, huh?" Yep, we're done. I went cold turkey. I
That's
thought, I'm not
great.
going to die from this. My father had heart failure, and I thought, I watched him, and I thought, nope, not me.
Yeah.
So,
Yep.
it can be done, but not,
Yeah.
like I said. When I got sick doing the vegan thing, that was years and years ago. So I was already aware that could happen. So I was tapering off. Even with the salt, I was tapering off because I knew you just don't cut your body off from salt either.
Yeah.
Because your body's got to adjust to all that. So I did it gradually to cut myself off from salt too, because I knew
Mm-hmm.
better. But I mean, yeah, it's all about the mind. It's all about the mindset and staying. And I know there's like they call it like the whole willpower thing. And with hypnosis, my God, that would help so much more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It really just shortcuts a lot of the whole process
Yeah.
because you change your preferences. So then
Hmm.
it's easy.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I call it easy willpower because willpower is easy when you don't even have to use it because willpower is the conscious part of the mind, that white knuckling, and then subconscious part of the mind is when things just flow and happen naturally.
Right. Because not everybody's like me. Not everybody has that. Well, you say willpower, that or that strength to go. No, I'm done. I'm cut off. That's it. Not everybody's
Mhm.
going to be able to do that. That's why people need help, and that's why I agree with
Yeah.
the program like the one you have.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. It just is. It's like giving them that little boost that they need to get on track.
Mhm. Mhm. It makes me remember when my mom was dieting all the time, and my dad got one of those pig things for the refrigerator to help her. And you open the refrigerator, it makes the pig sounds. I mean, how obnoxious is that, you know? But he had it.
Yeah.
My dad thought it was funny, but my mother, ripped the thing out and stomped on it in the end. But I think, yeah, I think people need to wise up into how they're eating because it's just too much crap. And I know what's sad too about it all too is now, thank God that the dollar stores, well, now the $1.25 stores, obviously, but thank God that there's super dollar stores that sell veggies. Because I mean, the price of vegetables in some of these regular stores, to eat healthy is not cheap.
Right.
And so, if they can go to the dollar store and pick up their lettuce and certain things to make the healthy food with, it's a big help to the people that are lower income to do these kind of diets.
Right. Yeah. That's true. But when
Yeah.
you factor in the cost of getting sick also,
Hmm.
then it makes sense to
Yeah.
eat more healthfully. And also, a lot of times when you're eating well, you can eat less food. So food can last a lot longer.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So what do you have to say to somebody that is kind of on the edge and wants to change their lifestyle or lose weight? What's your message to get them to take a look at your books and stuff?
Yeah, my message is don't give up and believe in yourself. It's absolutely possible. And it's about finding the new words and the new images, which is what hypnosis is changing the way you see yourself, the way you relate to yourself, the way you relate to food. And so many people have done it
Hmm.
before you. So never give up. Just you can do it too.
How long did it take you to put these programs together? Because I know when I read your bio, you started right after you got out of the hospital. But I mean, like I said, there was just so much research to do. How long did
Yeah.
it take you to come up with something that you could get that you could put out for everybody?
It took about 3 years back then in the beginning. And then since that, I'm always working on, always studying the new research and finding the techniques and the strategies that are working for the most people and then putting them out there. That's what happened with the gastric bypass hypnosis. For the first 20 years, I was just doing weight loss hypnosis. And
Hmm.
then I found this method, and I was one of the first in the United States to do it. And then Nightline ended up featuring me 3 times because my clients were having so much success with this simulated surgery. It's not even a real surgery, it's just virtual. But
Hmm.
it's amazing how when I do the hypnosis with people and they come up out of it and they say, oh my God, I saw the doctor, I saw the nurse, the anesthesiologist. And then they say, I feel like I have a band on my stomach. I don't want to eat as much food. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty
That is amazing because
wonderful.
see when you were saying that I envisioned my stomach being smaller,
Hmm.
and okay, I don't, I can't get that much food. People don't realize that their stomachs aren't as big as they think they are. That's the
Yeah, we
the
can be
stomach.
happier with a lot less food.
The stomach is tiny. It's not, it's not this big thing for food. It stretches. That's the issue. That's why it stretches when people are pregnant. It has the
Yeah,
ability to stretch, and that's where the weight goes on because it'll take more and more and more. But the stomach's not that big,
no,
you know.
yeah,
I'm gonna have to read some of your books and see what you got going because I'm
that'd
always
be
open to
great.
look. I'm like you. I'm always looking for stuff. I mean, I've got diabetic cookbooks here that my mother had for her diet. I've got my low sodium, 175 5-minute low sodium food recipes here, and I'm always looking for new ways to cook stuff.
Mm.
new ways to have food. And you know what, guys, and with this fresh food approach too, it's not only humans that are doing this stuff. People are doing this with their dogs.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
putting them on fresh diets.
Oh, yeah. But, sometimes I say to people, they take better care of their pets than they do of themselves. A
Yeah,
lot of people do. So it's time to not just take care of your dog and cat, but also yourself.
yeah. I see some of these people feed the dogs, and they're eating better than I am.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing. Yeah,
It's craziness.
yeah.
How do people find you?
EasyWillpower.com. And then I
Okay.
also have a line, we didn't talk about it today, but the medical grade CBD that I fell into because there's so much information about CBD and a lot of it's very confusing. So I actually wrote another book about CBD for health and wellness, questions you should be asking, so you know exactly what to look for when you want to buy CBD, wherever you get it, at the dispensary, online. So you're getting the best quality CBD and you know how to use it properly. So that would be at renasorganic.com. And for a limited time, I'm actually even giving the book free so
Okay.
that you
Cool.
can really learn about the ins and outs of CBD.
Well, what is see? I know the basic stuff that CBD can be used for, but as far as what everybody thinks of it being used for, what are the things that CBD can be used for?
A lot of people are using it for pain control. I mean, there's so many studies out there how it helps people with pain. For me, I started using it for my glaucoma, and it was amazing. It helped to lower the pressures. And then I started to get all these positive side benefits like sleeping better, balanced hormones, balanced blood sugar. So, but it really helps to, a lot of the science is showing that it helps to reduce the inflammation. And that's so helpful with so many ailments
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
especially pain. But First for Women magazine did a whole write up on my 1,000 milligram CBD pain relief cream. And actually, so did over 150 TV stations did a story about a woman who used my cream and got rid of her pain. So, because it's so important to use the high quality USDA organic certified CBD full spectrum, so the real thing.
Right. 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 Interesting. Well, I want to thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, thank you, Charlotte. It was so nice to be here with
It
you.
was
Thank
fun.
you.
Thank you. As the only reason why I kept cutting in is because, people have trouble, like you say, that's why they have to use hypnosis and stuff, and put getting in the right mindset to change your diet. Well, I was able to do it. I was one of the lucky ones that was able to shift. But I need to do it
Yes.
again, obviously. Too many chins. Uh, and
Mm.
I just wanted to put some input for that because I had that like the heart issue where I had to make changes or else.
Yeah.
You know, and to give an idea is when I started out, my EF was 35, and now my EF is 55, which is normal.
Hmm. Wonderful.
And it's all from watching what I'm eating and stuff. And it can be done. You can bring yourself back to health. You really
Yeah,
you eat the
exactly.
right food. So that's why I like to have people I have to have guests like you on because it does bring that to people to the forefront for people because like you say, people don't realize how much crap they're putting in their bodies.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Mhm.
But I want to
Yeah.
thank you for coming on tonight. I appreciate it, and we'll try and
Mhm.
get you on
Pleasure.
maybe later on in the year.
Sure.
Talk
Yeah.
to you,
Thank you,
follow up and
Charlotte.
see how things are going for you. Talk about the CBDs and all that.
Yeah, sure. There's so much to learn. Absolutely.
All
Well,
right,
thank you so much. It's been a
sure.
pleasure, Charlotte.
Well, thank you so much. You have a good
Sure.
weekend.
Thanks. You too. All right. Take
Okay,
care.
bye bye.
Bye.
Okay, that was fun. I learned a lot. I hope you did too. This is Thursday, so tonight is my night, or tomorrow is my day off, and so Saturday. I'm looking at your messages. That's awesome. Yeah. Um, Thank you for coming. I know it was kind of a cluster, but like I said, things started happening around 5:15 where Murphy's Law was kicking in with the show already. So I knew, in fact, I not only, the minute I signed on to start the show today and, do all the prep for the show, the internet lost me. I was lost in cyberspace with all those Marios that fall off, the trail there in the Wii game. So I was floating around somewhere out there. So then I knew it was going to be a humdinger of a show, which it started out that way. But it turned out to be a great show, and do look into her stuff because any help that you can get yourself in the right mindset to shift your diet around. is necessary. Because some people can make that change like I did, just go cold turkey, and some people can't do that. So, it's always good to have a little bit of help. Monday, we're shifting back into the paranormal. Our good friend Renee Pittman is going to be here, and she has written a book about the ghosts of Versailles, of Versailles, Paris. And I, as about 12 to 13 years old, visited Versailles, and I can tell you, it's beautiful, but there's a feeling about the place that's really kind of heavy and odd. And I can't explain it. And back then, I had no idea that I was ever going to be a ghost hunter. You know what I mean? So maybe that's what I was feeling. I don't know. But I know people have seen the ghost of Louis the 15th, the Louis and the wife who was beheaded out in the Rose Garden at Versailles. When they were out visiting. So it should be an interesting talk with Renee Pittman on Monday at 6:30 p.m., the usual time for the show. Sunday, we're going to be back at 6 p.m. We're going to finish the Ghost of Flight 401. We're probably going to go an extra half hour or so to finish it off. So that'll be the last reading for that book for the conclusion. And so then we're going to move into something else the following weekend. But I want to thank you guys for coming tonight and putting up with this. And I'm going to the RSS feed is going to be for the podcast is going to be edited out, that whole section. And then for anyone that wants to watch the replay on YouTube and Facebook, I'm going to go ahead and put a note on there that it doesn't start for 15 minutes, whatever it was, 15 minutes or whatever, so people can just go to that point and not sit through all the other stuff. If you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 people anyway. Like I said, we're equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio. Subscribe to our YouTube. We really need subscribers. We're looking to build that up, hoping to hit 200 subscribers very soon here. We're within about 16 subscribers for 200 subscribers. So I mean, it's grown by leaps and bounds in the last month and a half or so. It's really fun to watch how quickly it's grown. Visit our other website, californiahaunts.org, if you need any paranormal help, because that's what we do. We're paranormal investigators, and we've got skeptics and believers and psychics, and so you get the full package with my team. Retired police officers, attorneys, you name it. You get the whole package. All right. And again, that thing's flashing across the bottom of the page, because this is a nonprofit organization, and everything you see here comes out of my pocket, including the internet and the service that provides this StreamYard. So if you could help me out a little bit to keep these shows on the air, I'd really appreciate it. Hey, you've helped me out a lot. This is my 101st show this year. You've helped me out a lot. So go ahead, you can visit paypal.me at California Haunts or Venmo and just type in California Haunts. You can do it from there. But again, I appreciate each and every one of you listening, and anybody that's coming on board to follow our videos. Check everything out. YouTube's got like 190 videos on there. So there's a lot going on there. And before we leave, I'm going to go ahead and run Rena's website and the 2 books and where to get them, and then we're going to call it a night. So here we go. Websites, renasorganic.com or easywillpower.com. And Right Weight is the book, and Easy Sugar Breakup is the other book. And again, on the organic page, she's even got a CBD book available for you to read. And Amazon.com is where you get those other 2 books, and the CBD book is available on the organic website. All right, guys, thank you, and I will see you Sunday afternoon. Bye.